Thor's family tree is kind of a tangled mess. He has 4 half-siblings and an adopted brother, Loki. His father Odin is the king of Asgard, and his stepmother Frigga acts as his mother. But his real mother is Gaia, the essence of all life on Earth, which Asgardians call Midgard. Due to Thor's preoccupation with Midgard, his father removed Thor's powers on 3 separate occasions. But it's always given back when Thor proves he's worthy or just really sorry. This is actually how Thor first shows up in the comics. Thor first appeared in 1962 as Dr. Donald Blake. Dr. Blake is a partially disabled medical doctor who falls in a hole while on vacation in Norway. He then accidentally picks up Thor's hammer in a cave at the bottom of the hole and becomes Thor. That's kind of weird, right? What's really going on is Thor's father Odin changed his son into a white guy in medical school in the 1960s to teach him humility. This was a punishment because Thor is a brawling mess who broke a royal truce with the storm giants and accidentally restarted a war. Oops. When Thor stops being Dr. Blake, the human doctor seems to disappear from existence, but in a slightly confusing turn of events during Ragnarok in the comics, Blake becomes an entirely separate person from Thor. Thor's allies are numerous. Other than the Avengers, Thor's closest friends are his half-brother Balder, his sometimes love interest Sif, and a group called the Warriors 3, which include Fandral the Dashing, Hogun the Grim, and Volstagg, the comic relief. He has partnered up with the Fantastic Four and some of the X-Men. He has several friend-foe relationships with other gods such as Hercules, Loki, and Amora the Enchantress. Thor has fought everyone, from Thanos, Galactus, and Doctor Doom to the Midgard serpent who was supposed to kill Thor in Ragnarok in actual Nordic myth. But most of his problems come from inside of his family. He has been killed on occasion by his own father, and he has fought and beaten Surtur, the fire demon who killed most of Odin's family. His stepbrother Loki is his longest-running enemy, though, but the two love each other still on some level.
Only one of you can ascend to the throne, but both of you were born to be kings.
An alternate version of Loki hooks up with a giantess and has Hela, who is the goddess of death. Hela is a rough enemy to have. She once cursed Thor so he lost his ability to heal, and after battling a bunch of baddies, he is reduced to a god puddle. She eventually restores his vigor and they go on being immortal buttheads to one another. Ah, family. Thor is a god, and as such, he is immune to natural damage and disease. He has superhuman speed, reflexes, and senses. He is physically the strongest of all Asgardians, but he can also go into a warrior's madness, which gives him berserker-like strength and increases his stamina tenfold. Although he attacks both friend and foe in this state, his enchanted belt of strength doubles his strength to a point that we need to start doing math. He's just really strong. He's just really strong. Using his hammer Mjolnir, Thor can control the weather and use the God Blast, Thermoblast, and Anti-Force, which is kind of a shield against other powers. He uses Mjolnir to fly at supersonic speeds, but if he needs to take a few friends, he summons his chariot pulled by his 2 goats, Tooth Gnasher and Tooth Grinder. Thor also has a spacefaring boat called the Starjammer. He can spin while wearing his cape to cause small tornadoes, and has shown the ability to time travel. As with all Asgardians, Thor must occasionally eat the golden apples provided by Iduna, the goddess of immortality, to maintain his godly powers and long life. Also, I don't know if this is a superhuman power, but he's really good with the ladies. His love interests have included Amora the Enchantress, her sister Lorelei, who gave Thor a love potion in order to make Loki king of Asgard, but was thwarted when she tried to make the enchanted Thor watch as she and Loki got down. Seriously, it's real gross. The humans Jane Foster and Shauna Linda, who are both caught up in weird godly love triangles, and his greatest love interest, Sif, who he jumps in and out of relationships with during his entire comic book career, and once sacrificed himself to Hela in her place. My favorite love interest of Thor's, though, was in a 4-comic run storyline in 1980. Thor is reincarnated as Sigmund, who is then killed by Odin, so Thor is reincarnated again as Siegfried, son of Sigmund. Brunhilde the Valkyrie protected Sigmund's wife, Sieglinde, from Odin's wrath during her pregnancy, and she then falls in love with Siegfried after he's raised by a gnome named Mime. You still with me? Cool. Odin removes Brunhild's powers as a Valkyrie as punishment. Mime tries to kill Sigmund and is thrown into the blood of a giant that Sigmund just slayed and is poisoned to death. When Siegfried dies at the hands of Mime's son, Brunhilde jumps into his funeral pyre with him and she dies too. Odin is sad about all of this, so he reincarnates Thor and Brunhilde the Valkyrie, but removes all of their memories of the Sigs. My favorite Thor fact, though, is that there's a frog version of Thor. Puddlegulp found a sliver of Mjolnir, and when he lifted it, he was transformed into Throg, the Frog of Thunder, wielder of the mighty Frognir.